Recording.
I call the meeting to order. First order of business is discussion and action on the April 26th, April 22nd, meeting. Do I hear any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the April 22nd and I second.
And second, we have any discussion? All right, all in favor? New business. Before we get into the new business, I have two questions on procedure. There are four of us here this evening. If there is a 2-2 tie, what happens? The motion fails. The motion fails. Okay, so everybody understands that. Okay. The other question I have. Okay, so before we get started, so we're going over the facade. We have two applications. We're going over the facade improvement program guidelines. Before we start, I was looking at them and it said that before we amended them, did the selectmen approve the amendments that we did for them?
They did, with the exception of your excluded sectors. So you could look to strike bars, marijuana establishments, and things like that. The select board does not adopt that.
Okay.
They adopted everything else.
Everything.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that would be page 5, section 6A. Okay, so they, okay.
Those remain.
And they also, and use car lots, do they?
That remains restricted.
It remains restricted. And clarification on the amount of funding we have currently available.
So the amount of funding that's currently available under the guidelines that you recently adopted, you have approximately $2,000 available.
And that is an annual, I was reading that, just check, it's an annual fund. And what is annual?
Annual is previous year's receipts, which was approximately $125,000.
So if, even though we changed it to 50%, does that won't take effect till this year, is that correct?
I applied your receipts from last year, 50% to this year, and that's what leaves you with that gap.
What I hear you saying, if I'm not correct, is that we have $2,000 left in our facade improvement fund.
Under your guidelines, that's correct.
And what do you mean by under, I'm sorry to, but I want to clarify all this before we start.
Yes.
What do you mean under our guide? I know that what a guideline is as opposed to a policy. So
Yeah.
this is a guideline.
Yeah. So your guideline is set forth by this document for this program that says, as a guide, we're going to allocate up to 50% of previous year's TIF receipt to the program. Pretty much with the two applications that have been previously approved, and the residual from Elevate Salon has already been granted. What we did, I prepared for the select board, and I apologize for not having it right ready for you, is looked at the history of the program, knowing that you've got two applications on your table tonight. You've got an application that's coming in this week, and that you want to consider them on their merits. I can tell you that the lifetime of the program versus the receipts from the TIF, you have come close to 50%. So my recommendation to you would be review it on its face, understand that you are exceeding your budget.
Okay.
When you do that, recommending exceeding what was allowed. And so unfortunately, maybe you're held to a higher level of scrutiny. Maybe the questions are gonna be different, knowing that you're creating an exception.
Okay.
And that's a timing misfortune, I guess. And then maybe you just find good fortune in all of them and recommend differently.
Anybody have any more questions about that?
No, but I'm wondering about what's left in the revolving loan fund for Skowhegan economic development.
I would say about $50,000, but I don't know that for sure. We had the update of the last meeting. And there's always the opportunity for people that they refinance and they pay that down. But at the last meeting, they didn't give us a balance, they just told us about the notes that are out.
Okay.
I know that they still have money because there's a new business, not a new business, but a business that's looking to create a new establishment in town. Has been in discussion with them, and they told them they had 25,000 if they called.
Any more questions before we go
Yeah, I just had, well, actually, no, we can go ahead.
on? Gracie, you all set? Okay, good. So let's start, as the agenda says, we'll start with Mid Studio LLC, Lisa Hunt on 74 Main Street, the old Brookside.
That's correct.
Is the paperwork in order?
Paperwork is all in order. The applicant was noticed of the meeting. They're not.
They are not present. Has, would anybody like time to reread, the proposal?
Did I miss, what is the studio? What did we do there? Oh, the hangers, oh, okay.
What's that?
I was asking what they did there.
It's a hair-
What?
it's a hair
What
salon.
the studio was. Like what type of studio should that be?
It's a hair studio. Oh, really? Why did I think I read something? Okay. Um. They're asking for, I didn't total it up, did you?
I just did. I got 25.6, is that what you got? Cause they crossed out the window part and then I just rough totaled it.
So I crossed out the window part.
Oh, okay.
They had submitted this, or had prepared it before we could accept them. They still
Okay,
submitted the same application. And when they saw the revised guidelines, they said, okay, we're gonna go back and take a look. Rather than asking to revise the whole application, they said they were just wanted to pull the windows out of the project.
okay,
So I struck the windows from the project.
okay, so I got 25.6 without.
It was 5-6. Um. What I tried to do with both of these applications to go back and to see what our purpose for our facade improvement program guidelines is. And basically, economic development, stimulate public-private partnership by offering incentives to renovate, restore, and preserve building exteriors for Norridgewock. And that's on page 1, and then we went to page 2, facade improvements shall include exterior treatments, cleaning, painting, installation, residing, brick and stucco. Repair, replacement, installation of exterior doors, windows, trim work, located on the exterior. But we had that issue with windows with the restaurant, and we kind of redid our idea on windows. Is that correct? It doesn't matter because you already crossed them.
Correct.
I won't go over it.
So would roof modifications not fall under facade then?
Well, according to this, if you go down to page 2, if you have your the facade, yeah, page 2, I saw, this was, D. It says repair, replace, and installation of roofing that is visible from the roadway.
Right, so I just didn't know if the chimney repair.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
so
It might fall under that.
I guess if it's visible from the road, and it's not,
It is, I guess, looking at this.
and it needs to
Because
be
you're coming
improved.
from this way. Okay, I see it. Okay, that answers my question. I feel like you've seen this more than you've seen it, the front of it. Yeah, cause that's, yeah.
So they're asking for entrance facelift, blue shingle stain, trim, paint. Flat boards, I assume you mean. Flags.
I don't know.
Replace water for 7,400 and I didn't see any estimates. I mean, I saw this, the page on some page.
Like, where did these numbers come from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there was no estimate like a list of items.
Is that required when they get the application?
That may be not a problem. No, all that there was the list there that says entrance facelift, install 2 signs up front, that's what it was. We didn't see it from contractors.
So then they have to get that to us, right?
We only pay based upon what is paid.
When the work is,
So if we approve it, they have to give us their receipts anyways.
That's correct. Typically, it's a copy of the check and a receipt of some sort.
I thought they had to have all that up front.
we usually, in the past, have got a list from, of course, it's a nebulous list because it will just say labor and materials, but, yeah. In the past, we have got more of a, more of a list.
Yeah.
But it's hard for some of these contractors to get everything out of there, so that's good. Install 2 new signs. Roof modifications, chimney repair, fixed leak and paint metal roof. Existing vinyl siding, soffit clean and repair. And ADA compliant ramp, stair site. Sign it. See it. Oh, I see it in the back of the building.
Yeah.
I either need a motion so we can discuss it, or
So
I'll make a motion that we approve.
I have a question first.
Okay.
So discussion, do you need a motion?
so we have a second. You approve the 25, well, half of the 25.
That's what I was gonna ask. So they're asking for 25.6 and we would be doing half of that. Okay, alright.
I'm doing half of 25 or half
Half of 25, because we can
Okay.
only go to the one.
Right,
25.
That's right, so half of 25.
So 25.
Okay.
So do I hear a second to Bruce's motion?
So then that's going. I didn't know if we wanted to do more scrutiny, like we said, just because we have 2,000. I know it's just a suggested thing. But that's going well over
Mhm.
Yeah, that blew our $2,000 out of the water. No, I wish we had a better idea what like the signs will look like.
Can we ask for more?
Yeah.
detail?
Yes. And
The-
maybe if they can come and we can talk to them about it too. I don't like that. I don't think we've ever approved anything without the
Without the
person
reading.
here. I don't like that. I don't know.
I'd want more detail, like we said, like more like breakdown of supplies and money and
So,
like you said, examples of what.
Yeah, cause if they quoted out a sign, then they should have. Right, a drop at least.
Okay.
Okay, should I rescind my motion?
no, let's keep your motion there, let's just keep it, because nothing's happened to your motion yet.
Okay,
So until something happens to your motion,
It's about to fail for lack of a.
that's right, it failed. So, do I have a second? Seeing that we don't have a second, the motion will fail. And we can go back to the applicant, Lisa Hunt and Leslie Markey, and ask them for some, a better list of what's gonna be done. A more thorough list for them.
And examples of the like
Yeah.
York sign that says they work with, yeah.
You okay?
Motion to table.
Okay.
Motion, I make a motion to table the approval of the minutes review.
I was like,
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Alright, up to the table it goes. Okay, the next one we have is Nickerson's Yard Maintenance, Landscape Supply and Adware. On 20 Low Hill Road. Ryan Nickerson, and we have some representatives from, Nickerson's here tonight. Before we take their, well, no, go ahead, who would like to speak?
I guess.
Wow.
Hello, my name is Riley Mercier. I'm the executive assistant at Nickerson Yard Maintenance and New Hardware. We're asking for $10,797 from the facade program. We know that that's gonna be up to you guys, but we wanna put signage on the hardware store. We have multiple customers come in saying that they don't even know that we have a hardware store here in Norridgewock. So we want to beautify the space and let customers know that we're here. We're also asking for some landscaping around the current sign that we already have. It will be a 2-tier hardscape with some just to beautify the space and the sign that's already there.
That sign is out front, isn't it, by the road?
Yep, by the Waterville Road.
Okay.
And even with that sign, a lot of the customers come in and say they don't know where the building is, they can't see it.
A lot of our customers go to 3D.
Oh,
Oh, does it?
We can't quite figure out why, but we're hoping a big sign on the building will help let them know which building it is.
Yeah,
pretty big.
and you actually have a picture of that, so it's gonna look really nice.
oh, this is what you.
Yeah,
That's what it-
mock
that's
that.
what it will be.
Okay, okay.
So the estimate that you gave us has a small entry sign for 320, front wall and bed, 872. Materials 405. And then we have, equipment, I'm just, equipment. And labor the third, 52,200, which comes to 10,797, is that correct?
Correct,
But that's separate from the other quote for the signage? Or that's just additional to
it's
it?
all together in that 10,700.
Okay, perfect, it was just separate, so.
Yeah.
797, so we would only be able to grant you half of that.
Correct.
Okay, just so you understand that. Okay, so I need a motion.
Any question? Have we ever had, I feel like the answer is probably no, but, and I don't think that there's anything in our rules, but I'm just curious, have we ever had somebody doing their own work on a grant? Does that make sense? Cause they're gonna do their own landscaping work.
We have no rules
Okay.
about that. However, I don't know in the past, I mean, I've been doing this since the beginning, that we've ever had anybody do their own work. Yeah,
If there's nothing in there, then fine, I've read that, but I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, well, they do their own work, but don't, they would.
They're
But they don't
all, well, I
charge.
don't, yeah, right.
They don't charge.
I'm not coming up with the 10,797 including the signs.
Yeah, I looked at it generally.
What do you get?
10,797 on the labor, equipment, and materials.
But then
Without.
without this,
Okay,
so it's really for.
It's
they have to add that on there.
15,179.45.
thank you for doing the work.
I have 1070.
Right, but turn the next page, the back of the picture. No,
The
back of
actual
the picture.
sign.
Keeps turning.
There's more.
That sign right there that they're showing you on that picture, the pricing's on the back there, that right there.
That, this number here, 43. So in addition, and then the 4380. That what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, these signs here would be in addition to the facade improvement quote.
Right.
Just that shit. 15,179 is over here. Yeah. Huh. 170. Okay. I need a motion. So we can just, a motion and a second in order to discuss.
I make a motion to approve.
Second,
I have some questions.
okay, discussion,
Okay,
Ruth.
in the, this is. Yeah, this is proposed project start date. was May 19th. And it was completed the 23rd of May, so it's,
Yeah, that's my
Finished?
fault. I had passed it into Richard and we discussed that this meeting was happening, so we waited to then and I didn't update the complete date. So,
so this hasn't been done yet then?
No.
Oh,
no. So I believe we're gonna wait until tomorrow after we find out if it's approved or not, and then we'll start.
okay.
Yeah,
Kinda
and it should
getting
take
it.
only 2 days.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
maybe like 5 days.
Yeah.
And I have another question. Just. I am not a business owner, but can you explain to me how the signs for Duval and, you know, what you had in the store,
Absolutely.
that's more like advertising as opposed to.
I believe those are provided by them, right? Those
Yeah.
aren't included in this price, cause those are actually, supplied to us from them.
Oh,
So the Nickerson's, the large sign is what's in the price, the brand, signs are given to us by them. They're just all in there.
okay.
But they're kind of all
But
this,
it's listed on the back,
so you have,
Well,
like the,
you have $4,800 worth of signs listed.
I think it's
Under-
both.
Some.
Under right here, it says there's 4
Yeah.
different ones.
Okay, so they're.
But for the
It says Dual, Milwaukee.
Okay.
Diablo.
I'm the least informed here.
so,
So I spoke with John Howard and asked him about this, he did all sorts of signs everywhere. He said he was given all those signs. I'm confused why you have to pay for it.
The Nickerson name across the front, that's supposedly that's expensive,
right,
that's a lot of money. And the true value up on the top, I
Yeah,
believe that had to be purchased as well.
that's on
The
there.
other ones, the DeWalt and the smaller
Wow.
ones were supplied, they had to be made, but they were supplied by.
okay.
So we can take the 1544 off of here then.
1,544.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And value,
That's-
I sign.
Yeah, we're half the size of a small two value store, meaning the square footage that we have there. He did not help us with any shelving, he did not help us with any purchases or anything to get us set up. This was fully and completely out of pocket to get that store to where we're at right now.
So,
Okay,
so
Not prorating, creating and shipping, but removing the branded signs, the total project cost was now at 13,635.45.
13, 35, 45.
13,635.45.
Oh.
Any other questions?
Yep.
But any other questions?
oh, you
I
said you have another.
So I thought you're going for it.
know, I was like, oh, okay.
Um, my comment would be. Um, whoever wrote this proposal must have written grants before. Because I'm a grant, I review grants for the Maine Community Foundation, which is a multi-million-dollar organization that gives away money. And having read so many grants this year, this is grant writing quality.
I've never written a grant in my
Really?
life.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank you.
And the buzzwords, you do a great job with all the things that we need to know, which are things that are within our facade improvement program guidelines. So I admire what you did.
Thank
However, having said that, it is the town of Norridgewock's intent, my understanding of the facade improvement program was to improve the outward appearance of a facility. I think your facility is is beautiful. New, clean, bright. I understand your concern in regards to signage and product identification. Understand that. I guess that's all I want to say. If it were my money, which it is sort of our, I could see doing some, I don't know, I'm torn both ways. I don't know what to think. You do a lot for our community and I appreciate all the work you help the community with. I want to see your business succeed and you're thinking that more signage will give a better representation of what's inside.
As well as the landscaping, the extra landscaping out front to show what it is we offer, kind of a full package.
Yeah.
But it's been a real issue since we started, with the sign we have out, one would think is big enough, but it's.
Cause you already tried to improve that, right? That's your second sign that you've gotten for the road.
Right.
Yeah, we have, yeah, exactly, it's. we
Tried
have
to make
large
that bigger,
signs.
right?
We wanna put some the landscaping around it to get people focused, as well as, I mean, the amount of people that go to 3D that think that they go in and ask Devin for a bolt. It still doesn't make sense, I don't know what the. It would help us out a lot to have.
And they agree.
I don't know.
They
But
could,
it's been a real issue and we don't know what.
Do you have trees out, you have trees out in the front, don't you?
Yes, we removed a bunch of them, as much as more than I really wanted to. Because Steve Bishop planted all those and I really didn't want to take any more than I had. Well, we're open up the corner, you know.
Our store right now, it does look good, I built it, but it really looks, you really can't tell what is there.
I was gonna say, I wonder if people
Without
think
that
it's like your
little
service
set
station
up
kind of thing.
sign, they don't know what the heck we have, they have no idea.
Huh.
So we're gonna get that big true value oval up on above, have our name on it, of course, the signage, and then what we do around that. 10 foot wide, 5 foot high, there's two of them there, and they're approximately 20 feet in the air, is not calling them in. We're going to improve, we wanna put that on the front of the building as well as a double tiered landscaping. Flowers and bushes and all that stuff around that sign, that PT sign, we're gonna paint that, those are just a green post now, so our red and white signs, and press all of that up.
Will that be,
That's lit right now, that has 4 LED solar lights going on that sign, along with lightage. So you have them posts in the front as well as lights that run 24/7.
the sign itself is not electronic though?
What's that?
The new one is.
The new sign won't be an
No,
electronic.
It'll be
sign.
lit up by the lights that are already on.
So what I hear you saying is that you're not gonna touch the sign on the road.
We're gonna have the landscaping around that.
Right.
But then we're adding this on the building to try to. And that's where, yeah, some of the brand things are advertising, but they're also more of what we have for a hardware store. Which is what we need.
I'm going to even step in with this, but I'm not a marketing person. But you do know that the signage that's on your building still doesn't indicate that it's a hardware store.
Right.
And if I look at that, as somebody that didn't really know, I would assume it's just on the power tools. It was just that True Value logo up top, there's nothing that says hardware.
It says hardware on the sign out by the road.
It does.
But True Value also is the #1 branded hardware store in America.
Right, I get that, but when you have marketing and
Yeah.
you need to get somebody to think that you're a hardware store, if I look at this as. The wall,
It's all
it
over.
looks like I'm going in there to buy houses.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, maybe consider hardware, but I don't know. I understand what the business is, and if I saw True Value, I would get that, but.
Like Brian said, there is one of those 5 by 10 signs out in the road. That's not there.
It does.
It's pretty visible.
And construction. We've had people drive by
Yeah,
and come back by. I didn't see it.
People tell me, I've had probably,
Sign in the gate, you didn't see that?
I probably had a dozen people tell me, I tell them where we are, I drive by there every day, didn't know.
I wonder if they think it's like your maintenance yard building or something instead of
I don't-
door.
I don't know.
The only thing I can think.
The grand opening we had was very, very, receptive. And then the people coming in the same way, we didn't realize you had this much stuff. Like,
yeah.
why you have that? And we more than tripled our aggregates and mulch and that materials and those that took off 10 poles in the last year. Really don't go out. Just want the front of that store got done. To look more on a guy with so.
Any further questions?
So the most on the floor right now is for the original amount. At 50%, which would be 75, 89, 70.
So how do we amend that?
If you wish to amend it down, if you less out the cost of the branded signs to 1544. That brings you to a project cost of 13,635.45.
Right.
Half of that is 68,1772.
Do we need a new motion?
Would need a motion to amend.
Yeah.
I make a motion to amend the price.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion on the motion? So the motion now is the half of the 1365.45.
You're voting now to reduce that number, not on the total package. Just to reduce the number.
Yes,
Yeah.
all in favor? Okay. Alright, so any more discussion on the 13,635.45? I see none, so I'm asking for a vote. Who is in favor of the 1365? Unanimous. Okay, congratulations. I think a lot
Good
of
luck.
I really would like a commercial with my favorite child in it. I think that would really get you.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
I'm sure there's enough ice cream there for her to be brought with.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you do for the town of Norridgewock. We appreciate it. The town appreciates it. Our town father over there appreciates that. More grandfather. However, may I just say that we pay on the bill, we pay when it's paid, when it's done.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that if you wanted to throw us a bone and not charge us for all the excavator work and truck work that we've done. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying that would be thoughtful.
Can you take into consideration how much money we have in that whole area? I can brought revenue for the town. Yeah, I could actually.
Okay.
What?
This is the recommendation of the TIF committee. This will go at the light board tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Okay. I believe the TIF recommendations are going at the top of tomorrow night's agenda, so probably be heard about 6:15.
Okay, perfect, excellent, thank you.
Thank you guys for coming, and again, what he said, thank you for the pictures and all your detail.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
It was nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet
Thank you.
Bye.
You should bring her out to dinner, you know, she does a lot of work for you.
Continued business discussion and action for the residential facade improvement program. Was supposed to work on that, and I didn't, I apologize to our town manager. I did survive the ripping and the lashing. And after I was done that, I was done with my wounds. Said, you're okay. So I can't, there's nothing we can do.
So that's the discussion,
That's discussion.
okay.
Did we put in our notes from last meeting that, I thought you brought up something about we needed to elect officers again or something like that? Did you say that last meeting? And you said, yeah, I know John's not here, so we can totally wait, but I'm pretty sure we said last meeting, we do it this meeting and we were already behind or something.
Yeah, election of officers.
Yeah,
I don't think without John and Linda here, let's wait till next week.
that's fine, we just, I think you said last meeting we're already behind and now we're doing it again, so are we gonna definitely
Shoot,
meet next time? That's all I wanna.
I hope so.
I believe you're going to have another application come before the board for you.
Okay, and if not, we can say we all have to be there to take care of that too, then too.
What's this year, Secretary of State,
Look over, I think that was one of the applications.
So that was your mid one, I think.
Yeah, because all the documents, they still have the property.
Yes,
I know it's when it's all gone. I put it over.
any other business? Thank you for your honesty tonight, that's a hard, it's a hard, people will do so much good for
It
their
was a
town.
lot more fun when we could just,
I just
I didn't have applications.
No, I just hated asking that question when I'm here because I didn't wanna be mean, but I'm just like, you're gonna pay yourself for your own work, but I just didn't know how that worked.
I didn't wanna,
I know, and, you know.
but
I know,
I'm glad you knew what I meant, so I didn't have to like.
thank you. One of the things we did this last couple of years ago is we had a survey out there, and one of the things was to have a hardware time,
That I
hardware
remember
store in
that,
town.
yeah.
yes.
Unfortunately, in town, I don't think meant in the town. No, I think it meant more of a central, Route 2 would have been a nice place to have it. I mean, something where we get a little more bang for the buck. And I think that's part of their problem.
Yeah.
I ran a small business for 35 years on Route 2. And, people knew we were there because it was easy to see and it was right on Route 2.
They were going too fast by us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's you, exactly.
Yeah.
You're going 65,
There's so many accidents right up front there.
really?
It's nuts, yeah.
Everyone's stopping for lemonade now, okay?
Are you selling tractors now?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Doesn't say so. I'm just teasing.
We'll be next in for science.
Yeah, it was. Anyway,
my brother-in-law was used to say, if you're starting a business, there's three important things. Location, location, and location. And, yeah,
I didn't realize though, I'm glad he mentioned that like True Value didn't give them any help, cause you would have thought like, if they use their name, they'd give them some help, so I'm glad he added that, cause that's good to know that they have, they did everything on their own.
talk to the manager of Panic Way in Skowhegan. Skowhegan used to be a True Value store.
Yeah.
And they are now an Auchan store, and I asked him why, he said because True Value is pulling out of England.
well, that's what I had read
And
a while
it's just
back.
not, the brand is not as recognized as
Right.
Auchan. So, but,
Yeah,
any other business? Our next meeting will be on. And I don't have my
I
phone.
really don't
This
remember.
month, it is June the 24th.
I already didn't.
June 24th.
Let me see if I can get the
24th,
arrows.
5 o'clock.
Ooh.
What
I'll
day
have
of the
my
week is it?
meeting.
Tuesday.
Sure.
That's your regularly scheduled meeting,
I don't have my calendar.
and you're not gonna probably wanna bump it, cause then that gets bumped to the week before.
June
It's my
24th.
birthday, so,
The 24th.
so if there's enough people to come here, but if not, I'll let them know.
All right. I would I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm with the motion to adjourn.
So moved, so gone. Thank you, everybody.